Good morning. Part 10 of my court case against Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, you may like to know what arguments Watchtower used in my court case. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not allowed to give legal advice, but what I can do is report to you what I said in the court. Now, Watchtower claimed that the matter was not justiciable. That means that they believe the court cannot interfere in their internal affairs. And they quote from the European Court decision, and this is regarding the European Convention on Human Rights. And they state this: Article 9 of the Convention must be interpreted in the light of Article 11, which safeguards associations against unjustified state interference. So was my court case unjustified? No, it wasn't. You see, no constitutional right is absolute. It has to be weighed against the rights of others. So Watchtower were breaching my rights to good health, to a good reputation. And so it was justified. In fact, the European Convention on Human Rights, Articles 9 and 11, state that religious freedoms are subject to the protection of public order, to health or morals, or for the rights and freedoms of others. And Article 11 states, this article shall not prevent the imposition of lawful restrictions on the exercise of religion. And noted here also Justice Alison McKenna, when she was presiding over the court case that Watchtower took against the Charity Commission for England and Wales, and she stated this: Article 9 of the European Convention on Human Rights is not a trump card which prevents the state from inquiring into potentially harmful activities by religious groups. Now, the religion also stated that they are allowed to practice shunning, which they are, of course, and they quoted from an American legal case, Paul versus Watchtower of New York. However, the shunning practice cannot be carried out if the accusations are false, because it affects your health, your reputation, and your family relationships. So if Watchtower reaches a decision based on unfair procedures and that decision is false, then they have committed a crime. Now, we need to look at their argument that they do not have to use unfair procedures. And they use this argument from an Irish law case, O'D versus O'Brien. And the judge said, religions do not have to use fair procedures. Well, now, if a clergyman wants to give a sermon on pride, say, he doesn't have to go through the whole congregation to each member and say, oh, I think that you might have a trouble with pride, and I'm going to allow you to defend yourself against this accusation. No, he doesn't have to do that. He just gets up and gives a sermon on the general sins and the general harm of pride. And it doesn't affect your health, it doesn't affect your reputation, and you go away thinking, right, I'll try not to be proud. So, but Watchtower has an internal judicial system. Now, for instance, if they were to affect your employment, now they wouldn't, of course, because they don't employ anybody. However, some religions do employ their clergymen. So if they wanted to remove a clergyman, they would have to go to that person and say, look, we think you might have contravened our rules, and we would like you to defend yourself before we make a decision on whether to remove you or not. So religions have to use fair procedures in employment situations, but they also have to use fair procedures in judicial settings because they can affect your health and your reputation, and they can cause incredible harm. So, where have we got to now? I think I'll leave it there because legal principles are not the easiest, and I'm hoping that it's not too boring, but if I can understand this, you can, and it might be useful to any other lawyer or solicitor. Thank you for watching.